Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Hey, in this video I wanted to talk about just how crucial tomorrow is and why you really you ought to tune in to the Bungie reveal stream tomorrow. And if you can't tune into it, then maybe just definitely retroactively go back and see what happened, see what's going on Twitter, what people are talking about. All the highlights tend to get posted there anyways. But why is this a big deal tomorrow? Well, here's why this is a big deal. I think that tomorrow is a make or break moment for Destiny 2. And I think that they know that because they called the audible. I mean, they're still going to talk about some of the things, same things they were going to talk about, but they called a bit of an audible, and in response to some of the major community criticisms, they're saying, all right, we're going to bring Luke Smith and Noseworthy in here. We're going to talk about some of the major criticisms from the community. We're going to field those questions finally out in the open publicly. So, I think this is, I'm a fan of Bungie. I love this game. I think it has incredible potential, but I think they were a little late to the game on this. This probably should have happened sooner. The sort of open communication lines, really important from developers, especially when other developers are being so forthcoming with information so regularly. Some of these games that are in competition with Destiny 2 right now, these developers are really being active in communicating with their communities. And another approach that these other gamer developers are taking is, instead of doing these big updates that sort of overhaul the sandbox, that are spaced out by months, right? And we saw that in Destiny 1. We had these big overhauls to the Crucible, but the thing is, they were like 6 months in between them, you know what I mean? So you had to live in a meta for a long time before you started to see any changes to it. And that's done through lots of play testing and internal testing there in the studios. And I think that that's an approach. I don't know that it's the best approach these days, though. People want sort of just minor tweaks here and there. They don't want big major overhauls to the game. Sort of just take it one change at a time. Take some criticism from the community, say, all right, we need to change this, and this. Let's just knock these things out. Not do a huge overhaul. We'll see how they play out, and if we need to hot fix it again in a few weeks, then we can do that. I think that's the better approach. I think that people they respond to that a lot better than these big overhauls that are spaced out months and months and months. So anyways, getting back to the topic at hand, why is tomorrow important? Well, they're going to field some of these major concerns from the community, and I think that the community is now in a position where they're just kind of like, I'm ready to walk away depending on what you say tomorrow. It could make me stay, it could give me hope, but if the major concerns aren't handled correctly, I think a lot of people are just ready to step away from the game entirely and just kind of part ways with it for now. And that's why I think that this is such a crucial moment, because I think that Destiny 2 will get to be everything we want it to be. But the question is, will it be too late? Will we lose too much of the community in between now and when that happens? I think that's the major issue at hand. So a lot of people are ready to just throw their hands up in the air and walk away. That's why I think that tomorrow, what they cannot do, honestly, in all honesty, whether it's true or not, they can't come out and say, we just don't have the data that supports what the community is saying about the sandbox. They cannot say that. If they say anything along those lines, people will riot. And I think that it's sort of reasonable for people to be upset hearing that. It would be like you saying to your significant other, your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you say, look honey, this is something that's just kind of been bothering me lately. And you open up to them about it, and then they say, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's all in your head. You're overreacting. How does that conversation play out for you? I can tell you how that plays out for me. It's not good. Ryan sleeps on the couch when Ryan says that, so Ryan doesn't say that. You know what I mean? It's similar in the relationship that you have with the community. You can't just come out and say your concerns are not validated by what I'm saying. You can't say that. You just can't. And at the end of the day, here's another thing you have to understand. Data is somewhat unreliable. Data can be misleading. Data can definitely be misleading. There's a lot of variables that go behind, the certain data numbers that you see. Just because X gun has more kills than X gun doesn't mean that the first gun is OP or more powerful than the other gun. Maybe the other gun is harder to get. Maybe the other gun just has a higher skill ceiling, so it's actually a better gun, but it has fewer kills because fewer people can use it effectively. Maybe that's the reason. There could be a myriad of reasons why X gun has more kills in the Crucible than another. So you can't just look at data and make conclusions based on it. I mean, data is a really good sort of measuring stick to sort of point you in the right direction, but it's not a be-all, end-all. There are other variables you have to keep in mind when you're looking at data. So data can be unreliable. Data can be misleading. So all this to say, they cannot come out of the gate tomorrow and say, our data doesn't support what you're saying. You can't do that. And another thing is, at the end of the day, does it really matter what the data says? Maybe a little bit, but what's more important? Well, what's more important is the player experience. If the player isn't enjoying themselves, the player isn't enjoying themselves. Are you going to keep the game the way that you want it to be and have a much smaller community? Or are you going to adjust your game to make it everything the community wants it to be and have a huge, booming, really active, vibrant community? What's more important? That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. What's the priority? Where the priorities lie? I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I think they're going to err on the side of saying, let's give the community, some leeway here. Let's trust the gamers. Trust that the gamers know something. They know a thing or two about gaming. So I think that's what they're going to do. So tomorrow is make or break. And these are some of the reasons why. Community is ready to throw their hands up in the air and say, we're done. Or they're ready to say, thank you for finally addressing these things in a positive way. Okay. They could respond really well to it and just kind of rally behind the game. People are ready to do that. They honestly are. But tomorrow is such a crucial day. If we don't hear something about sandbox updates, that's going to be bad. Okay, now I don't think that was the original intent for tomorrow's stream, because they're keeping sort of the live team sandbox stuff separate. Like that's the seasons things, right? They're keeping that separate from the DLC. But I think that if they don't bring that information in and address it tomorrow, especially after what they teed up tomorrow to be, I think that people are just going to be done. They're going to be like, they could have some great things in the works, but if they don't talk about it, people are going to be ready to walk away. And that's a big deal. It really is. And it holds bearing as to where this game is going to go in the immediate future and a year or two down the road too. So I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I hope we don't get let down. I know a lot of the people that work there at the studios, and they're wonderful people, and they really want to please the community. They want to please the gamer. They want to make a product that people are really going to love and rally behind the same way that they did in Destiny 1. So I hope that they accomplish that. I think that they will. The question is, are they going to do it soon enough? So thanks for listening, guys. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Please just don't make it too salty. I'm really over just seeing all the hate. Like, you know what, we got our criticism out there. It's out there. Spamming it in all caps in a comment section on a YouTube video isn't gonna do jack crap at this point. So please be respectful of each other and have some dignity yourselves. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Hopefully I'll catch you in the Crucible.